So, as many of our listeners know, I am a teacher, and this gives me insights into lots of like topics and scenarios, etc., to see from the perspective of a teacher or of the school, right? But I recently experienced something from the perspective as a parent, and it really got me reflecting if schools are actually doing the right thing. Okay?
We don't think they are, do we?
Well, we don't know what it is yet, Dean. So basically, our eldest, she's in primary school. She's currently in year 5. She was feeling unwell. She had a temperature. She'd had like a really interrupted night of sleep. She was coughing. And in my opinion, she was not well enough to go to school. Okay. Now, as a result of pressures from my own work, you know, working mum life, fucking me over at every opportunity, and because of her reaction to potentially not going to school, I mean, she ended up going, right? But in my opinion, she was not well enough.
No, definitely not.
Like, do you remember that week?
Yeah, no,
she was so unwell.
Not. Yeah. We just thought she was addicted to school, and we're like, yes, she loves it so much.
But the reason she wanted to drag herself into school was because she was worried about letting her class down about the 100% attendance. Okay.
So how does that rule work? How does the 100% attendance work?
So basically, when I was talking to her, so she was worrying and crying and begging me for Calpol because she's like, I've got to go into school, mummy, or I'll let my class attendance down. Because there's pressure from the leadership team at her school, and like I found out, many other schools, for this 100% attendance. Okay, so they announce it in assembly, they have incentives for the classes, they read out each class's attendance, and then like if you're somebody who's been off school that week, you get, you know, some people in your class kind of giving you a sideline in assembly, like, oh, that's because you were ill.
Is it done every week then? Is this award every single week? So 100% for that week?
Yeah. In assembly. And then at the end of the year, they give out like prizes if you've had 100% attendance. I don't know if it's actually the year or it's the term, because again, like I couldn't quite get the information.
And it's the whole class collectively with that award, not individual.
So basically, if you've been off school, that was what Daisy was worried about. So she was worried. But if I don't go in today, I've let them down for the 100% attendance. So she dragged herself into school really unwell just for that reason. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Is this a strategy that schools should be implementing? And I know, I can see it from the school's perspective. I know that regular attendance is important. That is not what I'm disputing here at all. I know attendance is an issue for schools. It's a very hot topic within the government at the moment, very hot topic within schools. I'm not disputing that. Yes, that's a sideline. What I am now disputing is,
have they gone too far?
Do they need to reward 100% attendance? Is it rewarding 100% attendance, or is it penalising children that have maybe had to go to a funeral, or maybe they've been really unwell? Maybe they've got a doctor's appointment.
And if they are unwell and they're forced themselves to go to school, they're going to be spreading more illness in there and actually affecting attendance more. So it could work as like a negative in that way, couldn't it?
Exactly. So basically, I got myself in a little stupor that morning, and I was a bit like, is it just me? Am I overreacting? Because sometimes I do think, especially where my kids are concerned, I might overreact. But I wanted to see if it was something that anyone else thought. So I did a little kind of Instagram story, and the feedback was overwhelming, okay? And I mean, what people were saying in the instances at different schools, because obviously this isn't a national, you have to do this. Some schools don't do it. Some schools, reward it weekly, monthly, yearly. Some schools, one person was even messaging me saying that if you have 100% attendance, you go into a draw to win an Xbox. Another school said at the end of the year, all the children who have 100% attendance get to go to Thorpe Park.
I mean, I do get it. They're trying to get kids to school, but it's...
I know, but imagine being a child and maybe you're,
like,
for example, like with the girls, maybe the granddad died and they had to have a day off to go to their granddad's funeral.
And they feel like they've let everyone else down, and then their classmates have a go at them.
And then at the end of the year, everyone else gets to go to Thorpe Park. But do you know what, little Sally? You don't get to go because your granddad died. I mean, what I just...
Yeah, that doesn't feel right, does it?
Doesn't feel right. But I've got my phone out because I wanted to just read a couple of the messages that I got. And this is just a tiny snapshot of the stories that people wanted to share, and that obviously this has hit a nerve with some parents out there. So this was one. My 6-year-old son is being treated for leukemia. His class will never win the prize for attendance because he is off so much. My worry is that when the kids realise, they will start to leave out my son as a result or blame him. Also, from another perspective, if children come to school sick and they give it to my son, he has to then spend 3 or 4 days in hospital. Or, in the case of chickenpox, he could literally die. So what's better in the situation? I'm pretty sure it's keeping the sick child off school.
Surely the school must understand that, the kid's really ill and that shouldn't count towards the overall attendance. You know what I mean?
Attendance is attendance, whether you're ill, whether you've got a funeral, whatever it is.
There must be some...
This is what I'm saying, Dean. Is there some... Have we got it right? Should we be...
That just sounds ridiculous.
Should that be authorised attendance?
That's really, really unfair.
Well, if you think that's unfair, listen to this one. My son had a hearing aid in and had to go to a hospital for his appointments, and I feel like he's being penalised for being deaf. No, sorry, this is the one. This is the one that really got me. So
who's making these rules? Come on.
This is the last one. But my little boy suffered a perforated eardrum at school, and he didn't tell anyone that he was in excruciating pain, and as to why, because he didn't want to go home because the class wouldn't get the alligator. Okay, and that is a class cuddly toy that they get for whole school attendance. He's in year 2. So he suffered a perforated eardrum at school and was in agony and refused to tell anyone why, because he didn't want to go home, to let the class down so that they wouldn't get the whole class attendance alligator.
It's a lot of bollocks, isn't it? It's clearly not working, is it? Let's be honest. What can schools do to get? What can schools do to get people there more? Because some kids do skive, and some parents do take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So how can schools do it properly that these instances aren't happening, where people feel like they have to go, even when they're dreadfully, really, really ill, and they've got eardrums exploding, all sorts of stuff? What can we do?
I don't have a bursting solution particularly for it. I suppose in an ideal world, it would just be making school a place that children enjoy and look forward to going to. If they want to get attendance up, making sure that there's enough funding to support teachers, making sure that there's enough funding so that children can thrive and that learning can be adapted to suit the needs of all pupils, whether they've got SEND or EAL or, and the curriculum would be purposeful and interesting so that school is a place where children want to go.
Yeah.
Because I do appreciate that there are parents out there that are probably saying, just have a day off today, or I haven't got to go in today, or,
I'm a bit the other way. I think if they've got a little cold, I'm a bit like, no, I can't have a day off work because you've got the sniffles. You know what I mean? I've got to earn a living. So I'd send them in. But that would obviously spread it round. But,
It's a tricky one,
It is a very tricky one. I know what schools are trying to do, but in those instances, it's not working, obviously. Kids are feeling so much pressure to go that it's like making them ill.
Is it also
affecting them mentally as well?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to come on to. So is it creating a culture of... we have to drag ourselves in and force ourselves to go places if we're feeling unwell? Because I know that I am definitely like that. And I've seen you do it in the past as well. You're not feeling 100%, but you're like, no, I can do this. I'm going into school. And I remember...
Your work, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
I don't still go to school.
Yeah, I do. I go to school every day.
Sorry. Yeah,
for me. But I remember after COVID, I had shingles. And I was feeling unwell, and I had the rash on my neck and the rash on my stomach, so you get like a rash on one side of your body or whatever. And I was feeling pretty unwell. But I have this innate, I suppose maybe it's, I don't know, been drummed into me from a child. I've got to go to school. I've got to go to work. I've got to go. I still have to go. And I dragged myself in. And I remember my deputy head looking at me being like, you've got a rash, you're not well. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've got shingles. And she literally looked at me like, well, what the fuck are you doing here then?
I feel guilty for being ill. If I'm generally ill and I'm going into work or something, I feel guilty for that.
If a child is subject to somebody who's got shingles and they haven't had chickenpox, you could give them chickenpox and it could be really bad for them. So I was like, oh, right, okay, yeah, I absolutely should not be coming into this environment right now. And I didn't. But
yeah, maybe it's drummed into us from school age about attendance, and we get into early age, adult age, and we feel like we have to go. Not everyone feels like that, though, do they?
But I don't think it's about that. It's about going when you're ill. Like, why force yourself?
No, I know.
So, yeah, I don't know, but maybe you've got a different opinion on it.
Schools haven't got it right with that rule. I don't think they haven't got it right at the moment. Kids cannot feel like that.
It's not a rule that all schools implement, and I'd be interested to know the schools that do not implement the 100% attendance awards or anything like that, how they do that.
And what their overall attendance is like as well.
Yeah, and I think as well, if you're coming at a school and you can prove it and you say, right, my child's had tonsillitis, is that not an authorised absence?
Yeah,
because they're ill.
Yeah,
they've had an actual medical condition. Whereas, maybe the other parents, they're just like, oh yeah, they just didn't fancy
There needs
school
some
today.
nuance in the rule then, like that. Some nuance in the rule.
I don't know what nuance means.
Like, it's not black and white.
No.
Like, if you're off, or if you're there, you're off. There's like middle ground. If you're actually really ill and you get a doctor's note, that counts as could be like.
Maybe are we being a bit snowflakey about it and just get over it? You were ill, so you don't get a pencil. Don't know. Or I keep saying pencil because I've seen schools give the pencils. Yeah. But when it's something like an Xbox,
it depends how big the reward is. If it is just a pencil every week, then maybe kids don't give a shit and they're like, it's not, and it's not that big a deal. It's just a little thing saying you've been 100% well done. That's it. Not like this big drama about Xboxes and Fort Park and all this kind of stuff. Maybe if there's a little reward, it doesn't matter so much.
Well, maybe you agree with us, maybe you disagree with us, but we love to hear from you. So please let us know your views on that one, because
that was a hot topic for you, wasn't it?
It was a hot topic for me. I was definitely
inundated with messages, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I'm really sorry.
Supposed to be cuddling me in bed, and she's replying on DMs. So please, we love.
I always feel bad if someone's taking the time to message about it. I'm quite interested as well in what everybody's experiences are and what they think.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool.
Even if your view does not necessarily align with mine, or you want to give me another perspective, I'm always up for hearing it.
Oh, definitely. We love a debate. Everyone agreeing doesn't always work, does it? We love a debate.